Hey everybody, I wanted to make a quick little video talking about clothing for hiking and outdoors activities. Now, what kind of clothing should you invest in? Should you get wool? Should you get polyester, polypropylene? What's the difference? Should you wear your old cotton t-shirt while out hiking? Well, the conventional wisdom has been that you should avoid cotton at all costs. The old adage is that cotton kills. I've even heard some people say cotton is rotten. Well, is that really true? Why do people say that? It's important to understand the nature of the fabric in question. Then you can understand why you may or may not want to wear cotton or any other fabric. To do that, you first have to understand the nature of heat conservation in the body. The normal human body is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's an average. It can be a little higher, a little lower. Actually, some recent data is suggesting that people's average temperature is actually declining a little bit. So consider that. Anytime the body gets over about 100 degrees, though, bad things start to happen in the body. So you want to stay under 100 degrees internal temperature. You want to stay over about 96 degrees. Less than 96 degrees, you start to get hypothermia, actually. So when you're wearing clothes, what you're really doing is trapping air around your body. That's what insulation is, dead airspace. When the air is not moving, it can heat up. And so that is how clothes actually keep you warm. Now, some materials are better at trapping dead airspace than others. Hence, they have better or worse insulating properties. Something like polyester or wool is going to trap more air than cotton. Something like down is going to trap a lot of air. But when down gets wet, it clumps and can't trap any air anymore. So it loses all of its insulating properties while wet. Polyester and wool both retain some of their insulating properties while wet. Wool's actually better than the synthetics. The trade-off is that wool is heavier, but actually blocks out some wind. Polyester and polypropylene are lighter, but they let the wind through. So whenever you get wind up against your body, just like standing in front of a fan, how it cools you off, that's called convection heat loss. The air is stripping away the heat away from your body. So synthetic fibers will not protect against that, but wool will to some extent. Now, cotton doesn't provide as much insulation as either the synthetics or wool, but when it gets wet, it loses all of its insulating properties and actually doesn't wick moisture away from the body like the synthetics do. It actually traps moisture near the body and results in a lot of extra heat loss. So whereas wool will keep you warm while wet, cotton will keep you cold while wet. So all of these facts in mind is what has led people to assert that cotton kills. And it certainly does, or certainly would, in many environments. If it's cold, if it's wet, you can lose a lot of body heat very fast, even if it's not particularly cold. Just if it's 60 degrees out and you're wearing wet cotton, you can eventually become hypothermic. Remember, it only takes getting down to about 96 degrees to start feeling the effects of hypothermia. So it really doesn't take much. But consider this. Look at where I am right now. Does this look like a cold, wet environment? Is that the problem I'm trying to solve? No, right now it's 80 degrees out, and that's not even the high. It's only about 7 in the morning. We're looking at a high today of over 100 degrees. I want to trap as little heat next to my body as possible. Hence why I'm wearing a tank top. Now, some people, even in this kind of weather, while they're out hiking, they might strip down to their underwear or darn near it. I'm sure you've seen this before if you've gone on a lot of trails or trail running, if you've done a lot of backpacking or hiking. I'm sure you've seen this. People will take their shirts off. Well, yeah, that's good. But let me suggest this. What if you had a thin cotton shirt and you dipped it in the river or just wet it down with the water in your water bottle? What do you think would happen then? Well, the properties of cotton that we talked about before, how it will keep you cool while it's wet, actually turns into an advantage now, doesn't it? So in some environments, in some contexts, cotton actually absolutely can be a good choice. So like so many things, the truth actually depends on the context. And you should always bear in mind the facts of reality and not take other people's words as gospel. Don't take old platitudes or some advice you heard on the internet as the gospel. Always look into the nature of the problem you're trying to solve for yourself. Ask yourself, what are the relevant facts? What is the nature of the problem? What is the nature of the solution? And then you can make an objective decision based on reality and not some old tradition or supposed rule that somebody came up with in a context that might not even apply to you. So always ask yourself, what is my context? And with that in mind, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.